Should you roll for Zhong Li's banner? Hey guys, how's it going? I'll be doing a new series where I talk about each of the featured banners in Genshin Impact. I'll be going over character synergies, constellations, and recommended teams you can build with them. Unfortunately, I do not have some characters in my account, so I cannot show you footages of all the characters. Reminder that this is just in my opinion. Feel free to comment down below if you disagree with me. In the end, it's your account and your choice. As a rule of thumb in gacha games, you should only roll for the banner if you want all the characters in the banner, so that you get a win-win situation in case you do not get the character you wanted. The 4-star characters on the banner are Razor, an Electro Claymore user, Chongyun, a Cryo Claymore user, and Xinyan, a Pyro Claymore user. The featured 5-star on the banner is Zhong Li, the Geo Poem user. Razor is an Electro main DPS who wants to be on the field as long as possible in his elemental burst. He is a selfish hypercarry who does not provide any utility whatsoever for his team. Although he is an Electro character, he generally deals more physical damage as he scales badly with his Electro skills. Meaning, Superconduct teams are very powerful with him, as Superconduct reduces physical resistance. He is especially strong with characters who has a persistent effect on their skills even when they leave the field. His best partners at the moment are Xinyan. He can provide continuous electroshock with his elemental burst combined with Razor's elemental burst. Fischl, she can summon ores and switch to Razor for massive DPS. TT, she allows Razor to stay in for very long periods of time with her healing and provides superconduct procs. Kaya, the best superconduct partner for Razor if you do not have TT. His elemental burst stays on even when it switches off the field. Xinyan, she provides a shield which protects Razor, and with her Ascension 4 talent it gives 15% increased damage. And lastly, Barbara, who provides healing and electroshock with her skill. Now on to his constellations. His important power spikes are C1, C4, and C6. His C1 increases Razor's damage by 10% whenever you pick up a particle. His C4 reduces enemies' defense by 15% for 7 seconds. And lastly, C6 is the insane one. For every 10 seconds, his next auto attack deals 100% of Razor's attack as electro damage. The next character featured is Chongyun, who can be played as either a main DPS or a sub DPS. His E provides cryo damage to sword, claymore, and polearm users within the frost field. It's important to note that because of his E ability, he does not benefit from superconductor compositions, which means that electro characters are not suitable for him. He is strong in melt and freeze shatter compositions. Generally, he will want 2 cryo characters for freeze uptime, so TT, Diona, and Kaya will be welcome. The other characters strong with him are Xinyan, who provides constant freeze uptime with his ultimate, Bennett, who gives an attack buff, can heal, and is a pyro unit so it fits perfectly in a melt composition, Zhong Li, who drops Guoba and a fire tornado around her and can switch to Chongyun to create constant melt reactions. Unfortunately, he does not go well with Xinyan, as he does not use physical damage because his E converts his hits to cryo damage. This also means that he has negative synergy with Razor because you do not want to convert Razor's damage to cryo, reducing his DPS. His important constellations are C1, C2, C4, and C6. But if you're using him as a sub DPS, he does not really need constellations to make him shine. His C1 causes his normal attack combo to release 3 ice blades, with each blade dealing 50% of Chongyun's attack as cryo damage. His C2 causes all elemental skills and elemental bursts cast within Chongyun's E to have their CD decreased by 15%. This is the one you should be aiming for if you're using him as a support or sub DPS. C4 generates 1 energy every time he hits an enemy affected by cryo. And lastly, his C6, his ulti deals 15% more damage to enemies with lower percentage of his max HP. And it also summons an additional Spirit Blade. And lastly, the last 4-star on the list is Xinyan. She can be played as both a sub DPS or support. But if you get higher constellations with her, she can be played as a main DPS as well. It's similar to Noelle, where her skills scale with defense, and her last constellation scales her charge attack equal to 50% of her defense. Her primary role will be to buff physical attackers because her Ascension 4 talent increases physical damage by 15% whenever the party is shielded by her E skill, which means that her team compositions will be good in a superconductor team as well. Since she provides a shield, the main DPS on the team can use the Bolide set, which increases damage by 40% when under a shield. The best characters used with her are Zhong Li with a Crescent Pike, Razor, Jean as a main DPS, Hsing with a physical build, and Fisher with a physical build. If you are using her as a support, her important constellations will be C2 and C4. C6 is completely useless to her as a support, and even when she is a main DPS, I will argue that with the Claymore's charge attack, it's so clunky to use that it's not even that good. And finally we have Zhong Li, the man everyone is hyped for, the guy on the featured banner himself. He's a very strong Geo support character that we've all been waiting for, perfect for Ningguang. His role is not to do tons of damage but to provide utility. His E creates a Geo construct. OE detonates all friendly Geo constructs and causes AoE Geo damage and then generates a shield for the party. His Q calls forth a meteor which has a HP scaling, dealing massive damage and petrifies enemies for 4 seconds at talent level 10. He has a very short cooldown of 12 seconds and only an energy cost of 40. Theoretically, with such a small cooldown and energy cost, he can do his rotation, petrify enemies, swap to Ningguang and do a rotation, and by the time you swap back to Zhong Li, his Q is back up again. Since he can create a shield for the entire party with his whole E skill, similar to Xinyan, the main DPS on the team can use the Bolide set. I'll be making a video on him when it releases, so stay tuned for his standalone guide by clicking on the like and subscribe. Join my Discord and follow me on Twitter for updates. Now the first problem with rolling for this banner is that all 3 of the featured 4-star characters are Claymore users. This is a big problem because the strongest 4-star weapon at the moment are Serpent Spine, which is the BP weapon, and Prototype Animus, which is the craftable weapon. Since Prototype Animus is a craftable weapon, it's a very rare drop to get from weekly bosses. In other words, your choices for 4-star claymores are vastly limited compared to other weapon types. I'll go over your other choices real quick. Rain Slasher, which has an Elemental Mastery as a subset, which is not bad for Xinyan and Chongyun, but its skill does not help in any way for them, since Xinyan is Pyro and Chongyun is Ice. You of course do not want to put this on Razor as he wants all the damage he needs. Sacrificial Greatsword, which has energy recharge as a subset. This is a support utility weapon, so Razor does not want this. Chongyun does not have good synergy with this, and Xinyan can use this to a certain extent, but it's not ideal. The Bell, which has HP percent as a subset which none of the characters need. Not ideal to use this, but only use this if you have nothing else. White Blind, Razor and Chongyun does not want this because it has defense percent as a subset. It's good with Xinyan because her E scales out defense, but the problem with this option is that it's a craftable weapon, which I've already mentioned that is limited in amount. As you can see, this is a problem if you want to pull in this banner and use the featured characters in the same team, because if you want to use all of them, they want to have the same weapons. Secondly, the characters in this banner generally do not go well with each other. Razor can go with the Xinyan because Xinyan can boost his physical damage, but Chongyun cannot go with either Razor or Xinyan. Thankfully, Zhong Li can fit into any team composition as he is a standalone support character. He does not have the same problem as above because he is a pull-arm user. In conclusion, this banner is good to roll if you are near PT and you're guaranteed to get Zhong Li. But if you're looking to get the 4-star characters, you probably should not roll as they cannot fit on the same team. That's it for today guys, thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe, comment down below if you have any suggestions or if you disagree with me, please let me know. Follow me on Twitter and join my Discord for the latest updates and news.